Okay, this is a test and everything might be just going wrong right now without me knowing. So let me actually check if I can see my own stream from any other device other than my own. Hello? Is this working? Live. It says live. Dropped frames 0. That's a good number. I like 0. Content. Live. I'm currently live. Yes, that is correct. Please make me watch myself live. Is this working? It seems to be working. That's amazing. Sup. Hi there. Hi. Okay, so people are indeed seeing me, which is nice. Let me send the link to myself so I can actually see this from my tablet, which by the way is a JingPad. I'm using the JingPad as a tablet, and if you're interested in the JingPad, well, you can ask me stuff. And let me just pick this up from here. Sorry, this is very much a test. I'm trying out if everything works or not. So, okay. Come on. Yes, this one. New pipe. It's your turn. Okay. Come on, new pipe. Comments are disabled. I guess that's because it's a live stream. It's working. It's working fine. Okay, I can see myself, which is nice. Sadly, NewPipe doesn't support the live chat. But anyway, let's try anyway to do this video properly. Will Plasma get a better extension system and focus more on core features with its default releases? Okay, those are two questions. The first one is, will it get a better extension system? Which is a fair question. And the answer to that is, it depends on what you mean with extensions, because GNOME has extension, Plasma hasn't. Plasma has applets and themes. As far as applets go, it's going to get a slightly better API for applets in Plasma 6, but that's not going to be a significant change. However, in theory, if we KDE manage to, we should get a completely new theming system by Plasma 6, which should help everyone make new themes. And that should be a pretty big change. So in that sense, maybe yes, but not for extensions, but for themes. And focus on more core features. More features? What exactly are we missing? I mean, we're working on I think few things, big things at least that Plasma is lacking, like touchpad gestures, a good overview. Those things are being worked upon, which is nice. When is Qt 6 getting into Plasma? I think in Plasma 6, I think. I'm not sure about that, but that would be my guess. And Plasma 6 is coming in, I don't know, 1 year, 2 years, we don't know. Nobody does right now. I had lots of problems trying to switch fully to Linux. I have a Full HD, no, it's more than Full HD, Quad HD, 24 Hz monitor, an MVU, blah blah blah, with one vertical that made everything cut off on some screens. Cut off? That is weird. Have you tried other desktops? If it works on other desktops, then it's Plasma's fault, but multiple monitors is not something I'm an expert with. If it's an issue with scaling, then my Wayland, might be something that helpful, but I can't help much, sorry. What is annoying you the most about Plasma currently? The bugs. Like, honestly, the bugs. There are too many bugs, and I would like to see some more focus on fixing more of them. And to be honest, there is some new work being done. Lots of bugs are being fixed, and Nate, in its latest post, launched this 15 minutes bug initiative, which is pretty cool. So hopefully that's being worked upon. Will KDE Plasma become better for gaming in the future? Well, hopefully with the arrival of Steam Deck, stuff will move in the gaming department. However, about gaming, it's not really about Plasma. Like, gaming is not related to Plasma. Plasma and KWin really already do what they can do about gaming. They run your games, they turn off the compositor so they go as fast as possible. There's not much more you can do. It's all about the gaming platform, the ability to support games, and those are third-party things that KDE can't really act upon. What do you think of the KDE Maui project? I don't know, like there are good sides and bad sides. Like it's pretty and I think that's a good thing. However, sometimes they're inside of KDE, sometimes they aren't, and I would like things to be clearer. I would like to understand that KDE Maui is part of KDE, and I would like some people of KDE Maui to work on Kirigami as an example, some people of Kirigami to work on Maui, see that they're actually part of KDE, and then they launch this Maui shell, which is called Maui, but it's not actually a part of KDE, it's part of Nitrux. That's confusing. With the latest Chrome update, moving tabs are bugged on old KDE. It always creates a new Windows instead of moving. Please make a bug request on bugs.kde.org. That's all I can say, honestly. When will we have the floating panels feature? That's a good question, and about this I gotta say I'm sorry, because I missed the deadline for Plasma 5.24. That was on me. I should have been more careful with the dates, but what you don't know is that behind the scenes, it's not like until it's released, you can always add new features. There's 1 month period before a release when it's like stable, kind of stable, like being debugged, and you can't add anything. And since it's already less than a month before 5.24, I missed that deadline, so it's going to be in 5.25, I'm pretty sure, which is coming in about 4 months from now, about. Will we ever be able to resize big widgets in a wide vertical panel? I wanted to make a vertical list of widgets in a vertical panel, but the widgets are very big and the margins between them are huge. That's interesting. That's actually pretty interesting and shouldn't be absurd to implement this, and I need to think about it. Like, honestly, I never thought about it, and it could be something that I could work on, and it's the panel widget, so it's my area of competence. So if you have Telegram or email, send me an email with this exact same message so I don't forget, but thank you for asking. I see that I'm behind in the chat, but I try to read all of the questions. How do you do Plasma development on KDE Neon without uninstalling KDE that comes with it? Okay, so the idea is you install KDE source build and you ask KDE source build to build KDE software for you. And when it's built, you can do a separate session with all of the master things. So you have your desktop and the master desktop, which are two different ones, and you switch between them depending on what you're doing. Am I doing development? Then please give me the latest version with bugs and everything because it's in development. I'm not doing that. Okay, just use the standard version. And you can actually have both at the same time and you can switch between the two, so that's super useful. Do you think Linux as a whole will become better for gaming in the future because I really want to get away from Microsoft Windows? Hopefully yes, because with the Steam Deck, really I think it's going to be much better in a short period of time. It's not going to be Microsoft Windows in my opinion, so it's always going to require a bit of tinkering and stuff, but the situation is improving and you should really check out if you can use your games already through like the ProtonDB and stuff, check on the ProtonDB and stuff. Any methods for CI/CD automation testing with Plasma Mobile? I'm terribly ignorant with that. There is a CE script on GitLab right now. I don't know what it does, sorry. And there's not much testing going on as far as I'm aware, but sorry, I just don't know much about this. I've never been able to use KDE Plasma because of an, okay, I think I can actually remove this test because everything seemed to be going well. Please tell me if it's not, but as I was saying, I've never been able to use KDE Plasma because of an issue I have. I have two monitors. Okay, this is the same message as before. I've tried everything. I'm sorry, I'm unable to fix things for you by distance. I can only say if it's a KDE Plasma bug, then open up a bug report. If there is a bug report already and nobody fixed that, I'm sorry, but we're unable to fix all of the bugs in just a short period of time, so sorry. Do you use Arc? No, I use KDE Neon. I've used Arc in the past, but I find KDE Neon to be fine. What's your favorite Ghibli movie? The latest one, Si alza il vento, sorry, which in English is the wind raises something. The latest one, at least. Will Plasma get integrated applets per app like Kclock applet appear in system tray? Well, you can do that already. Like, if an application wants to, it can come with applets pre-installed. So if you're doing an application and you want to have applets coming with your application, you can do that. Runners for KRunner too. You can do lots of stuff. Will touchpad one-to-one gestures be available in the near future? Well, it depends on what you mean with near. They will get implemented sooner or later. And I think nobody has a clue on what sooner or later means right now. There is some work under the hood, but it's not ready yet. There is something, but it's not ready. So hopefully. Any news on the rounded panels? Will it be a theme? With rounded panels, rounded floating, okay, you corrected, good. And as I said before, it's coming to 5.25. It is going to be, okay, so I asked for it to be a different theme, but people complained, so maybe it will be an option for Breeze, if I remember correctly. But surely they want to be in 5.24, but 25. I use Kubuntu. Is that a good KDE distro? Kubuntu is not a KDE distro. I guess you meant Kubuntu. And Kubuntu is a good KDE distro. No question asked. KDE is good. So should you get KDE Neon? If you're happy with Kubuntu, stay on Kubuntu. How long would it take to build KDE on E5, 2 GHz, 4 GB of RAM? Depends on what you're building. If you say build KDE, it seems like you want to build everything. KDE has lots of projects. If you want to build the whole KDE, it's going to take probably at least a day on that CPU. Depends on the it's an E5, but what E5? So, but you can just build what you need. If you only need Dolphin as an example, you can just build that, and it's not going to take much, maybe some hours. And if you need Plasma Desktop, it's a bit more, but it should be feasible. And once you build one time, you can make changes and you don't have to wait all of the time again. It only updates the very things you changed. Who is the boss of this gym? It's probably Alex. Dolphin has the most annoying bug in the world, which has been open since 2017, whereby new files doesn't show automatically unless you click refresh. Okay, no, new files do show automatically even if you don't click refresh. If that's not happening, that is a bug, but it's not like it's for everyone. For me, new files do appear, so it works for me. I guess that for somebody it might not work, but those bugs are very hard to fix because for somebody it works, somebody else doesn't work. It's very hard to reproduce. And is anyone ever going to fix it? I don't know. It's not like we know in the future what bug is going to be assigned to what person in the future. I think that Dolphin bugs are mostly fixed by Kai. I might be wrong, and if Kai wants to, has the opportunity to fix it, he would surely do, but I don't know. Is Plasma big screen TV still a thing? Well, it still exists as a project. The Wind Rises, it's a great movie. It is, totally. Apologies if you already answered, but how did you become a KDE developer? Oh, that's actually a good question, and I haven't answered that already. And the idea is that there is no there's no formal process to become a KDE developer, kind of. If you want to contribute to KDE, just take the code, start doing changes, and send out a merge request. And I think that already makes you kind of a KDE developer. I mean, you did work for KDE. Now, in order, like the KDE developer tag appears to you when you do a bunch of work and you get permission to actually merge requests. And to do that, you just do changes, like you do one patch, then another, and at a certain point, which is after a couple of merge requests usually, people say, okay, you're a good person. You're now a KDE developer, formally, and that's nice. Hey, what do you think about Windows stacking feature similar to i3WM? Like stacking, I guess, stacking Windows in KWin, but so that they do not follow. Okay, so you're talking about, I think, the full screen, they do not cover full screen. And sorry, I don't understand this question, I'm sorry. Is it possible to have adaptive panel widgets which transform changes states depending on a particular case, such as when the application is focused? Should be. Similar to how Apple got one in its MacBook Pro Touch. Ah, yes, you can do that. Yes, I'm pretty sure. The applets can know a lot about the system. Just think of the task manager. Technically, the task manager is an applet that changes its state depending on what windows you have open, because it actually makes blue the window you have open. So the applets do have access to that kind of information. How come KDE didn't rush 2 Plasma releases to make the 25th anniversary edition align with 5.25? That's a good question. We never thought about rushing 2 Plasma releases, but we thought about actually changing the number just for that release. So instead of being 23, it would going to be 25, but we thought that it was going to be confusing for people that were actually following the numbers, and then they would ask, where is Plasma 5.23? And sorry, it doesn't exist. Sorry. That would have been weird. How can I theme KRunner and notification? Those are both okay, so the background is a dialog, so it's all Plasma theme. Plasma theme dialog background for the background, and then there is the text input, which I don't remember the name, which is another SVG, and buttons, which is another SVG, and you're done. That's all you can change. Plasma theme, I've done many videos about them, you can watch them. Fell in love with KDE. Nice. Do you know if Dolphin will ever have a refresh button? It has one already. It will not come to the toolbar by default ever, I think. But we do have the refresh button, and if you need the refresh button, you can edit the Dolphin toolbar so that it's there. So if you need the refresh button, you can have it. It's already there. It won't be there by default. It feels inconsistent. Is there something you do against this? I'm the goalkeeper of the consistency goal, so yes. The idea is that you do some mockups to make stuff more consistent, and then you try as much as possible to implement them. There's a lot of things going on regarding all of these things, so if you're interested, hit me up, I can try to explain. Please teach us how to customize KDE. I really like your setup, but I use default. I use the default layout. It should be pretty easy to have the default layout. I add a battery widget, and that's about it. If you need something specific, you can ask me. What languages do you use the most in your KDE development? QML by a far shot, and a bit of C++. Blah blah blah. Hey Nicola, but okay. I really love KDE Connect. If you guys can add using phone as a webcam feature, it would be awesome. The issue with that is that I'm pretty sure it requires ADB debugging, and KDE Connect cannot rely on ADB debugging. But there are apps that do that. As an example, the one that I'm using right now, which is DroidCam. Use DroidCam. It's pretty good. How often do you play tennis? Never, actually. It's my parents. It's always so difficult to make lock screen and login screen together consistent. That's true. I don't remember if we did something about this recently, but That's true. It's a flaw we have because everything is a component. It's a bit of a mess. But I don't know if this will be fixed or if there's work going on. But the issue is there. Integrating window stacking, but so that they do not cover edge to edge, but rather leave a bit of space. Okay, so it's styling, but a bit of space. There are plugins to do that. There are plugins that do that. I know because I tried them. They're decent. So if you need that, you can install the plugins. It will not come in KWin by default. What do you think about Pantheon DE? Pantheon DE, which one? Is the elementary one, right? The elementary one looks very pretty. I tried it just one time and I only have positive things to say, but will you do developer review for it sometimes? Pantheon DE is the, let me Google. Pantheon DE desktop. Isn't it the elementary one? Yeah, it's the elementary. Okay, so I've tried it. I've done the review of it. So elementary 6 video. Refer to that. Are there any beta versions of KDE Plasma available for users to use? For the next release, you can use KDE Neon Unstable. It's going to use 5.23.80, which means 24, but not yet. What is Plasma primarily written in? C++. What's your favorite lesser known feature of KDE? The lesser known. Okay, so something that you might not know, which is my favorite. Okay, I love that KRunner can do complex math because I'm doing math university, and if I want, I can just pop up KRunner and do integrals, derivatives. So cool. What all do I need to know to contribute to KDE in terms of development? I already know C++. Should I learn Qt? What else? If you know C++, you're set. I think you can look into QML, and that's it. Will you port KDE 3.39 to macOS? Lol. 3.39. It was not the last release before KDE 4. I actually started using Plasma, I think KDE 5.8, so I never even saw the 4 series. Do you know Baby Vogue? How do you pronounce Vogue? Yes, I do. I talk to him often. What made you commit to developing KDE, and what's your favorite feature? Honestly, I started working on KDE because I loved it, and it was the best project from the free and open source world that I loved, and that's it. The favorite feature is applets. The fact that you can move applets around, install third-party ones, create them yourselves, it's so cool. Has there been a discussion on adding a refresh button for the wireless networks on... I wonder why a refresh button hasn't been implemented. Honestly, I've never seen such discussion, but it might be me. So, not that I'm aware of. That's the answer. Hi. Let me the jump. I deployed KDE 5 years ago on 10 computers in the office. First months were hard, okay, but now every employee seems to love it or accept it, at least. That's super nice to hear. And the cool thing is that there is a lot of sentiment in KDE developers that we should try to focus more offices and like work environments. And to do that, you need stuff like better accessibility. So that's very nice to hear. It's totally and probably informal goal of KDE to do stuff like that. And I was reading, do you know if there is any way to disable the thing where if you make a window move itself out of the screen, it semi-closes hides the window? I didn't actually know about this. If you make a window move itself outside, I didn't know about this. Honestly, never heard of about this. Sorry. How do you become a developer like you? Okay, my suggestion is to join the KDE VDG and Promo Telegram groups or Matrix ones and start reading. Just by reading, you will understand understand a little bit of how things work, and then you can start doing little changes to QML, which is really easy to do actually, even if you don't know it. When I started, I knew nothing about QML, I knew a little bit of C++, but nothing about QML, and now I love QML, and that's how you start. Also watch my videos. What's up with the KDE Connect resetting the SSH session with a phone? You need to ask the KDE Connect developers. I never heard about that, sorry. Why is there no virtual keyboard anymore? There is a virtual keyboard. It's the Maui, Majit something. There is one, I'm pretty sure. It works on Wayland, it's pretty. So yeah, there is one. What about GNOME? Any good news? Yes, it's in development. It will be ready, I think, about 3 months from now. Yeah, about 3 months from now. Which distribution do you use most often, and which do developers recommend you use? Okay, I use KDE Neon a lot. What do I recommend to users? Kubuntu is great. Manjaro KDE is very controversial, but might be good, so you could consider it. Then there is Fedora, OpenSUSE. Kubuntu would be my probably top pick to recommend. Is there... I lost where I was. Is there a way to decrease the time necessary for the window preview to show up, taskbar? Not that I'm aware of. No, sorry. Do you like window managers? I do. I prefer desktop environments in general, but I do like the idea of managing windows automatically to tile them. Why is Plasma Mobile so slow in Pantheon? It's complex to say. The Lumiere, for example, is Qt2, but it's much faster. It's complex to say. That surely is a better question for the Plasma Mobile developers. And I was thinking if I had anything to say, but it would probably be wrong, so it's better for me to say nothing. What's gonna happen with libad, Vita, and KDE? Good question. I'm afraid I'm gonna skip this one too. The idea is that currently we're trying as hard as possible to make GNOME apps feel consistent with Breeze. And as long as we can do that, we'll try to. But if it's not possible, or if it requires too much resources, then it's a possibility that we just say, okay, GNOME apps, use your own theme, and that's it. Few years ago, systemd became the standard. What do you think will be the new standard in KDE? Regarding systemd specifically, I don't know, sorry. This goes beyond KDE. I don't think that... I guess something in KDE requires systemd, but I think you can run KDE without systemd stuff, so I don't think it relates to KDE, this question. Can you talk about new Plasma Virtual Desktop? What do you mean with a new Plasma Virtual Desktop? Is there anything new to talk about? Virtual desktops are that nice feature that we all know about, so I don't understand the question, sorry. What's your opinion on suckless software? Are those the Nazis? Okay, that's a terrible way to answer this. I don't know about the software. I've never used the software. I only heard that kind of bad things. Not KDE specific question, but Linux itself. How come drivers for Wi-Fi not be included in the kernel? Sorry, this goes way beyond my competence. Sorry. Is there a way to share config in just a file? Yes, you can use Plasma Config Saver. How behind am I in comments? A bit. I've done a video about that. Why was the desktop cube effect removed? It was a very old effect, legacy, very hard to maintain in C++. It has removed because of that. Now new effects are coming in QML that are replacing the older ones. Hopefully the desktop cube 2 will be rewritten in QML. but the old one was just unbearable to maintain, sorry. Why is KDE rounded corner bug still at an... because it's complex. The corner bug is complex. It's not like if there is a bug that lasts for 10 years, even though it gets massive attention, everyone complains about that. It means that it's so complex to fix. Like, honestly, how do we do that? Okay, so you have to make third-party decorations be able to tell the blur which area not to blur. And to do that, you need to go through a lot of passages, like the decoration needs to tell the decoration API, that needs to tell kwin, that needs to tell blur, and that's hard to do simply. One day, hopefully, we'll fix it, but till then, there's not much one person can do really. It's tough. Will you become a GNOME developer? I recognize the person asking this, I think. I probably won't, probably. Does the KDE team consider smaller screens when designing the UI, since all the menus and applets look so oversized on small screen? I can safely say we do consider small screens, but sometimes you need space to show the things. But yeah, we do consider them. We do test on 720. Are there any plans to merge desktop settings, wallpapers into the main system settings? I thought there were, but apparently I dreamed about it. But if we manage to, I think that's something that would sooner or later be like to implement it. If you suck at C++, don't worry, you can still contribute to KDE, even just QML. There's a lot to do with QML only, and QML is really easy. Don't worry, you don't have to touch C++. Is there a way to change the default behavior of drag and drop in Dolphin? Apparently not, sorry. The patch for that was rejected. How did you become a dungeon master? And try to pick up the reference, but I'm not a dungeon master sadly, so sorry. KDE dungeon, I don't know. I don't recognize the reference, sorry. Does KDE Neon support upgrading through versions? Does KDE Neon support... not that I'm aware of, but you should ask KDE Neon developers. But not that I'm aware of. Can you make QML tutorials? There are a lot of QML tutorials already, and I think that it wouldn't be a good fit for this channel. Sorry. I don't know if I asked the right person, but can I apply KDE Plasma theme on another platform like GNOME or something? If not, why? You can. 2 apps, I'm guessing. If you want to use an app on GNOME with Plasma's theme, all you do... Can I show this? Is this working? Okay. All you do is you take the terminal, and let's say, as an example, you have Kate. Sorry, prefix. You do Kate, this, can you read this? Kate, what was it? Style, breeze, I think. Yes, as you can see, it's breeze. If I don't put style breeze and just type Kate, this is not breeze. So minus style equals breeze. Of course, you need to install breeze. I think that's obvious. Let me get back to my face. Do you know the IREOX project? No, sorry. GNOME supremacy, yes. Is it feasible to use the JingPad A1 as a PC? No, sorry. What do you think of about GNOME, GTK4 and libadwaita, the widgets, the API, and the consistency? You're asking a lot out of me. I think GNOME is a cool project. I think GTK is a cool project that's very limited in scope compared to Qt, and that makes it easier to work with, in my opinion. libadwaita, you're asking too much, I don't know. I'm a Flutter developer. It's very good to make beautiful UI in very less time. Apps are cross-platform, any place for us in KDE. What do you mean any place for us in KDE? Like, if you want to do an app in Flutter and for it to be part of the KDE community, it would be slightly weird that it's in Flutter, but if it's a good application, it's not necessarily against any rule. So if you want to be part of the KDE community, sure, but you can also do a third-party app for KDE Plasma that uses all of the Plasma things, and that's fine, really. It's not like we refuse to work with anything else that's not Qt. Have you ever used KDevelop? Never, actually, because I think Kate fits my development use case just fine. Can you make a tutorial about it? No, sorry, haven't used it. What is the most annoying bug you keep avoiding to fix? If it's a plural U that includes all of KDE, that's probably the corners bug because it's hard to fix. If it's just me, an annoying bug that you keep avoiding to fix, that's a tough one. Let me think for a second. It's surely related to panels. Panels have a bunch of bugs, but I don't know which one, honestly, because I'm trying to fix all of the panels bug. I will not succeed. Which is the most difficult programming language for you? Brainfuck. Hi, Nicola. For me, performance and stability is key. Is there any plan to an LXQt version of KDE Neon? No, because that would be against the idea of KDE Neon. KDE Neon does not come to be an LTS, but to be unstable. So if you want an LTS, go with, I don't know, Kubuntu, which is good. So I don't think if there's anything to complain about that. When do you think Wayland will be ready to become the default? As far as KDE Plasma goes, I think right now it's already pretty darn good. Of course, third-party apps also need to use Wayland properly. As an example, right now I'm in X and not Wayland, only to use OBS. I use Wayland for 99% of my time, except now because I have to record and I have to use OBS, and that's it. Sadly, that's the truth. Is there any plans to enhance the search for functionality in Dolphin? As an example, to be able to find an indexed file recursively. That's the point of indexing. And if you need that, use kfind. Kfind is amazing. And if you need that sort of things, there's kfind. But in Dolphin, the idea is that if you have Baloo, Baloo will do it for you. Have you ever broken an ARC system? So many times. So many times. Probably not the first one to ask, but what's your opinion on GNOME and what you made originally work on KDE? I think GNOME is a pretty good desktop. I do like it. I will do a video talking more about GNOME in about 3 weeks. And but I choose to develop for KDE Plasma because it just fit me best. I love the customizability. Sorry about that of KDE Plasma, and I just like it more. That's it. Sorry, not that GNOME is any bad. It's really good. KDE Plasma fits me best. Does KWin Wayland fully support layer shell protocol? I don't know. Sorry. Is it possible to change resolution in KDE on Wayland? Not with open source driver, at least. That's another I don't know actually. And Wayland specific questions should be asked to the KWin Wayland developers, which sadly I'm not. I know that I didn't put my CV in the video title, but sorry, I can only answer so much. Is it planned to have a config system that we can share, store, import, export, git sync, blah blah blah? Not inside of KDE. There are third parties to do that, but not inside of KDE. How am I doing? It's fine. I have exams starting from tomorrow to 3 months from now, so I am a bit worried, but hopefully everything sorts out and I'm back into being productive, so hopefully everything is nice. Where is it? I got lost. Okay, sorry, I need to skip some messages because I'm so behind. So let me skip some messages. If the important one I missed, tell me again. Kubuntu KDE never worked for me, too much bugs and crashes. KDE Neon is a much better, but sometimes it's a little unstable. Okay, I mean, distro are very subjective, and if you like KDE Neon, that's great. It's going to be unstable because that's what KDE Neon is, but anyone can use anything. I have a question for you. From what I see in terms of the UX design perspective, is that the desktop environment are copying the design languages evident in OS X and Windows? I think not. But I don't have a clear way to argument this. I just don't think this is happening in a significant amount. I think that we're coming up with things that both Windows and macOS doesn't have, even in terms of UX. So I think not. Do you procrastinate? How do you get back on track? So I can show you because it's my phone and I can't use this, but I do have a super complex system to keep me productive and avoid procrastination, which is simply put, I set weekly goals for each activity in terms of minutes to spend, and then I keep track each day, each activity, how many minutes I spend on each thing, and that kind of works. So that's how I do. Welcome to the cool tier for more videos. Thank you, Sailor Greg. I'm a Python developer. How can I contribute to KDE? I love Python too. I use Python whenever I can. Sadly, there's not much to do in Python in KDE, only little things. But the cool thing is that you don't need to know C++ and QML to help KDE out. There is non-technical jobs such as promotion, which is already very useful. But even if you do technical jobs, development, QML is so easy to do. And if you use Python, you're smart enough to use QML, I think. I just wanted to say the new Breeze theme is awesome. Thank you. First time on my stream. Well, it's the first stream I do that actually works. So welcome in. When is the new KDE release? In about a month. There is, if you Google for Plasma 5 schedules, you'll find it, but it's about a month. Discover is in a desperate need for redesign, we know, and we are working on a redesign. I actually love KDE a whole lot, but one thing that I forced me to move is that I depend on Clip Studio Paint for my art. Sorry, we can do only the desktop and third-party support. We can't work about that. Sorry. What's your opinion on using the Avalonia UI framework? Let's Google that name because I've never heard of it. Avalonia UI framework. Is it something interesting? Let me. The XAML framework that you love to build with. It looks pretty. That's interesting. Oh. This is okay. So the thing is, we use Qt. Qt is probably a completely different thing. And in order to change the framework, it would take so much time. We would need to rewrite everything from scratch, basically, which is absurd. So that's the idea. We are very much tied to KDE. Your voice is gentle. Thank you. I hope that's a good thing. Would you recommend Kubuntu or KDE Neon or something else? If you're a user, I recommend Kubuntu, generally speaking. I love KDE and I find it the only usable DE. Okay. I do suggest Kubuntu. Do you have any idea as to who I should go to request vector brushes inside Krita? The Krita team, which has both, it has a forum, probably a bug tracker of its own. So there. I don't know any specific person that could help you, sorry. The only thing I really miss in KDE is good modern browser with Chrome, Firefox compatible extensions, hardware Excel. Yes, the thing is, Firefox is a good browser. Chrome is too, but Firefox is open source. Firefox is a really good browser. We can't quite use Firefox internals on KDE projects because of complex reasons. And the idea of doing a web browser from scratch when there's already so many good ones, there's not really the interest to do that. Like even KDE developer would probably say just use Firefox or Chrome. That's the sad reality. It's hard to put a lot of effort on something that already exists, especially if it's open source already, like Firefox. My biggest contribution to KDE probably depends on what you define biggest, but probably, you know, if you go bottom right, you click on the system tray, there is an header. I'm very proud of that one. That was one of my very first contributions, and it was not a big one, but the one that I'm most proud of. Then I'm doing a lot of like panel cleaning code, adding like floating dialogues, transparency and stuff, but that's less interesting. What are your exact responsibility for Plasma or KDE? I usually work on the SVG theme, Plasma widgets, the panel, and more in general, the actual Plasma shell. That's my, not responsibilities, but interests and competencies. What's your opinion on LXQt? I don't really see the point of that project, which is not to say that the project is pointless. I just don't personally understand it. I wish to see an unified Linux that is capable of reaching every single human being. Good luck. I mean, I would like to be a millionaire, but how do we get there? Are there any plans for i3 liking tiling options on KDE? Use third-party scripts. Please use them. They're good, and Kwin is not getting this functionality by default. Hi, do you have an idea about the release for the Qt patch for NVIDIA? No, sorry. Too specific. I'm not omniscient. Why does Breeze make icons so small when you make any panel with a taskbar smaller than 36? Because we only have icon steps. We can't resize icons because we only have icons of certain sizes. And if the margin is taut and the height less the minus the margin is less than a certain threshold, you get the smaller icons. We can't do much about it. Could I contribute to KDE community? I know HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Throw away HTML, CSS, JavaScript, keep it and use it on QML. Why Falcon is so good? Yes, but it lacks a lot of things. Like, let's be honest, Falcon is a nice project, but it lacks a lot of things, and it's hard for developers to focus on Falcon when most of them, if not all of them, are using Firefox. Is KDE against CSD? Yes, actually. Read Nate's blog posts about this. What do you hate the most in KDE? Bugs. I hate bugs. Will KDE Wayland get a primary monitor function? I think that it got one. I'm not an expert in Wayland again, but I think it got one. Linux is tech socialism. Whatever you say. Any good tutorial on how to create a plasmoid? I think that Zeiran did some really good ones about that, so search for the Zeiran plasmoid tutorial. Do you know any info of Dolphin being able to open folder as root anytime soon? It was implemented. We got that. I think it's ready and will be in the next Plasma version. Could recommend any source of knowledge to develop apps to Plasma? Look for the Get Involved KDE.org page about development. It's really good. The notification applet is bugged. Open a bug report, I guess. Would you ever work for Microsoft? If it's a very interesting project, I might, but it gotta be really interesting. Will Qt6 bring any benefits to KDE Plasma? Yes. I don't know them by heart, but in theory, yes. But most of the things you see are from KDE, not from Qt. So KDE changes in Plasma 6 will have the benefits, but also Qt6 is nice. maybe even if just performance, that's already something new. Have you tried any esoteric languages for fun? I'm trying to build, okay, it's not very esoteric, but I'm trying to build one, and an half-baked language counts as an esoteric language, but except that, no. Why not using SVG icons instead? Okay, so let me get this clear. We do use SVG icons. The issue is that even if you have SVG icons, it's a false myth that you can resize them however you want. And about that, there is the search for KDE lesson learned, and it talks about that specifically. What is the biggest feature that KDE is developing? Probably the new overview. Probably. What about the Brave browser? I don't know, never used it. It uses the same engine as Chrome under the hood, right? It's not very open source either. I've seen the blog post, but I'm not sold on the project. But it's a browser. If it works for you, it works for you. So what can I say? Why is the date and time always so big? Well, I reduced the size of date and time, so that's already an improvement. Can we change the clock size only and keep the taskbar size as it is? Yes, but you need to create a Plasma theme, a different Plasma theme. If you create a new Plasma theme, then you can do that by adding more margin to the panel SVG in the object. What was that? Thick. It was called thick. Make thick thicker, and it will get smaller. Adieu. Do new versions of Qt hit you like a transition from Python 2 to Python 3? Not at all. Much cleaner transition, I can promise that. We'll see in 2022 a new KDE default theme? No. Is it possible to get a dock in stock KDE? Yes, and I will make that easier to get, hopefully, soon. Related to Breeze theme, how do you plan to modernize it a little bit? Something like LXQt to avoid Quantum. We have done the Blue Ocean project, and there is already a lot of modernization going on. So that I've done a video about that. If you want to search for Nikolove, Blue Ocean, or Breeze redesign. What bug do you hate the most in Plasma? Sometimes the meta key stops working. So annoying. Meta key doesn't work. What time is it? Okay, I can do a little bit more. Is there a way to have a button on a panel to turn on and off KWin scripts? Yes, there is a third-party applet for this. I don't remember the name, but I promise you that if you search very good on the KDE store, it's there. Which IDE, this is a typo. I use KDE. Have you ever contributed to do any open source IDLE? Why this L? Isn't it just IDE? I use KDE, and I never contributed to KDE directly, I think. No. Please contribute to Latte Dock and help Psyphodotos, hard word to pronounce. Actually, I had tried to make a patch to Latte Dock when I got involved for the first time in KDE. Unluckily, I was not expert at all in anything, so I didn't manage to do anything that was usable. But my very first patch that I tried to do to KDE, that didn't work, but I tried to, was floating panels in Latte Dock. Then it was implemented by Psyphodotos himself, so sorry, but I tried. I don't think that Latte Dock needs help from me, because I'm not like the features that I would be able to do are there already, and the features that Psyphodotos is working on are beyond my level, sadly, but I'm trying to bring some of Latte features to Plasma Dock. Why are system tray icons so over-detailed? I don't know. They're just the icons we have. If you want to change them, I think that it would be nice. I also think that they could be improved. Any plans to rewrite more core apps in Kurigami? Yeah, see my last news video, I talk about that in the end. Why is it so hard to have Windows like Task Manager indicator for which we have to install Latte Dock indicator? You can actually install a third-party Plasma theme that implements that. I'm not aware of any, but there should be some. But yeah, you install a Plasma theme. That's the idea. Is KDE development your full-time job? Do you have another job? Look, the only thing giving me money here is your donation and the ads in the YouTube channel, but I don't get any money from doing work on KDE. So donation welcome. That's the only way I make money. I'm a student. Is there a way to change the default behavior of drag and drop with Dolphin? I answered that already. The answer is no. Sorry. The merge request to do that was rejected. Does KDE plan to make some kind of welcome screen that guides you through the DE? It was talked about many times that nobody ever did it yet, but maybe one day. There's no clear plan, but there's some interest in that. Does KDE plan to make some kind of welcome screen? Sorry, this was the one I just read. Sorry. Do you like Fish Terminal or Vanilla Bash or something else? I use Vanilla Bash, but I've used Fish one time. It was cool. I'm just lazy and I just use whatever is pre-installed about that. What is QML that you told me to learn after HTML, CSS, JavaScript? Yes, QML is a markup language using JavaScript that's used to do most of the UI of Plasma. So search for Qt QML. Qt QML, yes, and you'll find about that. Ciao, Nicola, ciao. What is QML? Okay. By the way, can you still install third-party plugins in Kate? I don't know. I've never installed them. It should be possible, but I don't know. Sorry. How do I change KRunner unit's default top result? That if you go to the preferred unit and then press enter, that might help. If that doesn't work, send me a message and I'll try to figure it out. Unify Plasma panels and Latte Dock thoughts. Well, that's kind of already in the plans. So as Plasma panels get more features from Latte Dock, those features are standardized. And in theory, as far as I know, Latte Dock should follow the Plasma theme, and the more the Plasma theme actually says to Latte Dock, the more it's a standard. So yeah, that's being worked upon. Some things will never be standardized because maybe the feature is not there for the for the Plasma panels. Are you a computer science student? No, math. I do mathematics. When do we get to see gestures in KDE? As soon as possible, but right now there's no one working on it, but there is a half-baked thingy. Hopefully someone will come along and finish it. Might sit down and make a mock-up of a welcome screen. Feel free, but please join the VDG first to see if there's any work on that already. I know there is, but it was a long time ago. Maybe a mock-up is always welcome. As I don't understand, Salire Gran Soresino. Why? Okay, yeah, I guess. As far as I know, there is no way to have Windows like Task Manager indicator as Plasma theme. Yes, there is. It's in the tasks. Maybe I don't know the window manager enough, but I'm pretty sure if you go into the tasks.svg in the Plasma theme, you should be able to edit indicators, and you just do the one that you need. That's the idea, at least. Per forza, is there a straightforward way of managing NVIDIA drivers? Out of my competence. Will we ever see a Mac-based UI still unique in KDE style as an option? Could be. There was a proposal about this some years ago, but it didn't get accepted. But maybe in the future, could be. No one is working on this though. Apart from KDE, what is your fav open source project? I love tasks.org. I love uAbits. Inkscape is great. OBS is pretty good now that I use it. These projects. Which distro do I use? KDE Neon. And I've been live for an hour. So I think I will end it here. Drawing tables as a replacement for math, I actually use LaTeX directly. I've done a video about that. Go see my video called Pine Book. It was about the Pine Book. It was like this computer under 100 euros helped me in the university. Go see that video. I explain how I take notes. Sorry, that is it. I gotta go now. And thank you, everyone. I'm very happy that this worked, and I will start doing this every week. So if there's any question left, next week. Sorry. Hopefully this was... I can also do this. Whoa, animation. Thank you to all the patrons. Right, really thank you. And hopefully with the weekly live stream, more people can join in and ask me questions. And hopefully that can be helpful to anyone. 1 hour and 1 minute, and this was interesting. I'm happy. I'm really happy. Thank you everyone for tuning in, and I can't wait to see the statistics to see how many people watched this video. I'm generally curious. So thanks everyone, and see you tomorrow.